I was astonished and puzzled when I saw Hammershøi first.
I was really touched by this modernist approach.
Man weiß nie, darf man sich geborgen fühlen in dieser Welt?
And the emptiness that it's very hard not to be occupied with.
And I asked myself, why don't I know the name?
Wilhelm Hammershøi was born in 1864 in Copenhagen, in the central part of Copenhagen. His family was from the upper middle class and he had 3 siblings.
And the older brother Hammershøi had died early.
From the very beginning, his mother believed strongly that he was a big talent that she should invest in. So she actually supported his artistic career and took care that he went to a training and had private lessons in drawing. When it comes to patrons and supporters, we can't escape talking about his mother. She is really important, and from the very beginning she kept almost everything he did. Every kind of just a little drawing or little paper cuts and critiques, it's kept and preserved until today. Hammershøi had his debut in 1885 at Charlottenborg with a rather big painting, the portrait of his sister Anna Hammershøi, who was quite a puzzle for the critics of the time.
Very early on, he established a narrative, he established an artistic interest, and he really follows that, like a conceptual artist, so to speak.
In 1891, he married Ida Ilsted, and from that point, she took over the part of modeling for Hammershøi. And it was quite a task because you had to stand maybe for hours or days in the corner, sitting, looking in a book or gazing out of the window. So it was not just something you did for a short while, it was actually a huge task.
Hammershøi is really painting where he is, where he lives, his house, inside, outside, the landscape. He's painting his wife, but also here we rarely see his wife from the front. We rarely see the face. He always hides something.
You've got an artist who is, on one hand, extremely radical, and on the other hand, in the first moment, very conservative. And both things come together.
Es ist aufregend, das immer sich vor Augen zu halten, wie viel Energie Hammershøi in diese unbewussten kleinen Gesten seiner Frau legt. Denn sie macht immer irgendetwas, beziehungsweise sie macht immer irgendetwas fast. Sie steht zwar am Klavier, aber sie spielt nicht Klavier, sie lehnt sich irgendwo an. Sie ist immer wie in einer scheinbaren Handlung. Sie ist aber nie in einer Handlung. Und das scheint ein ganz großes Thema für ihn gewesen sein, künstlerisch. Solche Momente der Selbstversunkenheit, solche Momente des Unbeobachtetseins zu malen.
I believe Hammershøi and Ida was quite an important couple. She actually plays a more vital role for his painting that we have acknowledged until now. Because we must think of she was standing there the whole day. She spent hours with him doing his paintings. Of course, they had a conversation along the way. And we know she played quite a vital role when it came to finding the right motives when they were out traveling, finding the right places. Where should they go? Where should he paint? So she took great part in that. And I think she had quite an impact on him in that respect. From the turn of the century, he always painted in his own home. Actually, he inhabited his own motives. He was part of it, and it was very important to him where he lived. It was important that it was the right apartment, that the rooms were good for what he wanted. So he lived where he painted, and actually he had his studio right in his own rooms.
The most important place was the Strandgade 30, where he lived a long time, where most of his famous interior paintings were done.
It's more or less like a performance of homeliness. He is investigating what is a home, what is it to be at home, and where are the boundaries between the home and the public. And that kind of questions were, of course, quite important at the turn of the century, as they are today. And that, I think, is quite important for the way he still causes our interest today.
Ich denke schon, dass es viel damit zusammenhängt, dass er das Gefühl hatte, man kann mit sehr wenig sehr viel zeigen. Man kann mit sehr wenig sehr viel erzählen. Und dass er mit seiner Kunst sagen wollte, wenn ich einen Raum male mit 7 geöffneten Türen, dann kann das auch einfach eine symbolische Frage nach dem richtigen Weg im Leben sein. Das kann auch die symbolische Frage nach der richtigen Antwort auf die großen Lebensfragen sein. Eine geschlossene Tür, eine geöffnete Tür. Wenn man die Zeit hat, als Betrachter sich darauf einzulassen, dann kann das alles eine große, schwere, tiefe, faszinierende Symbolik bekommen.
If you want to group Hammershøi in an artist movement, that will be symbolism. The character of this movement is its openness. The general belief that behind the world we see that there's something more to it.
I love to compare it to Morandi. He's creating a cosmos. He's creating figures, emotions, societies, everything.
Hammershøi himself said that lines and light were the main ingredients of his art. He always is looking for interesting lines and the way the light maybe just shows itself in a small glimpse or maybe plays a greater part in his paintings. So in a way that's what he explores in many different ways with small variations and different kinds of settings in his apartments.
If you look at his works, there's no tone, there's no noise, there's no action. The world comes to stand still. Even the landscapes, there are no birds flying, there's no movement, it's quiet.
When you look at Hammershøi's paintings, they look quite tonal. They have a very subdued color tone with grey and white and black as the main colors. But actually we know from research that white is not just white in a Hammershøi painting. Sometimes there are up to 50 different shades of white in one painting. Besides that, he used a lot of stronger colors too, beneath all those white and grey and black strokes. But in the final works, you can't really see it, but they're underneath. Yeah. So he's a colorist in black and white.
The beautiful thing with working on Hammershøi is that the works, they talk to each other, they communicate. And there's no formula for doing the right hang. You have to be there and you have to take your time and the paintings will tell you where they go.
Es ist sehr aufregend, dieses Bild Morgentoilette im Original zu sehen, weil man plötzlich erkennen kann, wie der Künstler gearbeitet hat, wie er gemalt hat, wie er getupft hat, wie er versucht, sich diesem Körper seiner Frau malerisch zu nähern. Und daraus entsteht ein ganz besonderer Reiz, weil für mich es das zärtlichste Bild ist, was Hammershøi von seiner Frau gemalt hat.
Wilhelm Hammershøi was very, very interested in photography. At his time, photography was quite a new medium. I think we can tell the influence of photography in many ways in his paintings. The way that sometimes they seem very strange angled. He paints backsides of buildings. They are cropped the way photography crops its motifs. And I think it enhances things that we would not normally pay attention to. In a way, he's thinking like a photographer. His works are emerging like his works and photographies are emerging.
Still in the 90s, the institutions who had works of Hammershøi, they had their works in deposits. They were all hidden away, tucked away, no one really could see them. Now, these Hammershøi works are the stars in every collection. You won't find an institution having Hammershøi works hidden away. They're proud to have Hammershøi, and the audience loves Hammershøi.
Man vergisst oft, dass Hammershøi trotz dieser Selbstbeschränkung ein Künstler war, der sehr viel gereist war, der sehr viel gesehen hat, der in London war, der in Paris war, der die Künstler seiner Zeit kannte, der das Wichtige seiner Zeit kannte. Dann aber ist eine Konsequenz komplett anders. Alle anderen gehen raus, er bleibt zu Hause. Alle anderen malen in greller Farbe, er malt in Grau und Braun und Weiß. Alle anderen malen nackte Menschen, aber er malt seine Frau züchtig angezogen wie eine Nonne. Er macht es genau anders als alle anderen und genau diese Andersartigkeit macht ihn so besonders und genau dieses Verhüllende macht ihn für uns heute so anziehend.